Hi, everybody. It's Alex Jarett again with Technology Executives Club with another leadership briefing, this time with Richard Doran, the CEO of Sierra ITS. And this topic is why AI projects fail. Hey, Richard, how are you?
I'm great, Alex. How are you doing?
It's great. And it's great to see you. And thanks for coming up with this topic. It's a really hot one. Let me just get this last slide off and then we'll get started. Watch this video and all of our video leadership briefings and spotlight interviews at technologyexecutivesclub.com. Now let's get started. Richard, again, you have so many great topics that you come up with, and I really like this one a lot. Why AI projects fail. And we all know that big projects have a high failure rate to begin with.
Sure.
And AI projects seem to have a higher rate than even the big ones. And I think MIT recently passed some stats about that, and that was a big controversy. Those of us in the field, we know this is very common, so it doesn't surprise me that AI would have a lot of new ones. Why do you think that's happening right now more than ever?
Alex, that's a great question, because at the end of the day, projects fail for a number of reasons. But now that AI is in the mix, tech leaders, they're so focused on the AI piece because that's what their leadership wants them to deliver, good or bad. And so AI projects rarely fail because of the technology. And the only reason I say that is because I truly believe they fail because the wrong people are in the wrong seats.
Oh, interesting.
The right talent can bridge data, business, and execution to turn potential into measurable results. And what I mean by that is you start with the business issue or the business challenge,
Yes.
and you reverse engineer it from there. If you start with the tool and then you try to work it forward, that's a non-starter. And the best technology leaders that we work with always start with the business problem, business challenge, and then how do we transform that challenge and problem into a solution that adds value to the org.
That is such great feedback. I have heard this same thing from the tech leaders that I work with. And they are saying it in the board. That's what they're hearing. AI, AI, AI. So would it work, Richard, to say, well, it didn't work because it was your fault because we made us do it? Is that a good strategy?
As we both know, that's not a good strategy. But that's also, the technology leadership is on the hook now for AI initiatives. It comes down to misaligned goals. If the business leadership and the technology leadership aren't in sync in regards to the solution and the goal, expectations are not going to be met, and there's disappointment. And whenever there's disappointment, then there's a challenge to the organization. And it costs time and money. And those are two finite things that we all value.
You know, Rich, I think you're right on the money. I hear this also. You can't lead with the tech. You got to lead with the business issue.
Yeah.
But in this world, people are saying, well, we know AI is a game changer, so we got to start using AI. So there's a balancing act there. And I think you're right on the money by bringing this out to light with this briefing. And I think that you're doing a service to everybody, because if you're in that technology spot or VP level, you've got to balance that and educate them and manage them to say, okay, great, let's find the issues.
Well, and then there's project selection.
Yeah.
And project selection is difficult because sometimes the business initiatives dictate it.
Yes.
But if there's not a solution out there, there's disappointment again. And sometimes the disappointment is we don't have the right data. And as AI projects move along, what I've seen through talking to our clients is data integrity, data governance. If your data is incomplete or biased, your AI will be too. Skilled data engineers and governance leads can help this, but data readiness is really, at the end of the day, the make or break on an AI project's success. Because
Yeah.
if the data isn't there and it's not clean enough to use or in the right framework, it could be misconstrued. That's where a good data engineer and a good
Yeah.
data analyst can help the team get to the answer.
I totally agree that head of technology, whatever their title is, whoever's in charge, they got a real balancing act here because they've got the senior exec saying, I don't know, figure it out. If I can play with ChatGPT, you can certainly figure it out. Something like that. And they don't really understand the ramifications of putting it in systems or processes and things like what's in the employee's head and all that stuff. But they know that it's a game changer. So you got that pressure. Then you've got the educated, seasoned technology executive saying, all right, we got to find the right project. Because at the end of the day, if they don't find the right project,
Transformation.
Yeah, there's no transformation. And they're the ones that are going to pay for it.
Yep.
So then what you're saying is, okay, that's step 1 and step 2, but step 3 is data readiness.
Data readiness, right? And overarching all of that, the cost of doing the research, manipulating and managing the data, and then integrating it into the business process. And, when it comes to cost, it's interesting. We work with a couple different firms on this, but one that comes to mind is a national healthcare insurance firm.
Yeah.
And they were going to the big 3, and the dollars that were involved in this data governance project that they were undertaking were astronomical.
Yeah.
And so they came to us and said, we need a data governance consultant who can come in and create a framework for us, because they didn't have a framework, create a framework and structure and enable us to get our various groups and departments in sync so that when we roll out this AI initiative, it's successful.
Yeah.
And then, Alex, what we found, what we were able to solution for our client through a staffing solution was they saved a significant amount of expenses by hiring a staff aug consultant rather than a consultant through a major tier firm.
Yeah.
And they had an amazing outcome. So it really, it was problem, critical thinking, solution, and we were able to help them with those 3 components as well as save them expenses along the way.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. And at the end of the day, since we're talking about project success, how'd the project go?
So I'm happy to report the project was a great success. They're using the framework and the data sets to move forward, and it's one of their initiatives for 2026.
That's great to hear. So the tech leader in charge in that situation knew that this was a critical element in the framework, and he's
happy, his leadership is happy, and in turn, it's successful. So Alex, there's one more thing I'd like to add. It's collaboration.
Mm-hmm.
AI isn't just a tech project, it's business transformation.
Yeah.
And the winners and the losers have translators, i.e. team members, who could speak both of those languages, business and technology. So again, it goes back to the right people in the right seats. And when you're working with an organization that can understand the business as well as the technology side, you get to that finish line a lot quicker.
Yeah, I think this is one of those scenarios where you really want to have a cross-functional team involved.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, we've heard that for other major projects like ERPs for sure. That's something also. But this is one of those scenarios because you really want the team learning as they go.
Yeah. And it is learning as they go because business transformation is learning as you go.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Well, this has been a great segment. We could probably talk for hours about why projects fail, but you gave 3 really strong insights: misaligned goals, data readiness, cross-functional collaboration. Is there anything else you want to add before we close out?
Alex, because I'm on the people side of this business,
Yeah.
It really is, do you have the right talent in the right seat? And if you don't, there's ways of getting it, be it in a consulting or staff aug role
Yes.
or a strategic direct hire. And that's what we do best. And that's where we get the most fulfillment, is when we're able to help out a client achieve their goal and turn a project from a yellow light or a red light into a green light.
Yeah, that's great. Well, Richard, thank you for your time today. Another great leadership briefing with you. You always give great insights for everybody. And I like the angle that you come from. You come from the people side of the business, and you've seen it all. So thank you for taking your time today to share your insights about why AI projects fail and how to have your project not fail.
Yep.
Have it succeed.
Great seeing you again, Alex.
Thanks, Richard. Likewise.